Hey YouTube, this is my Airborne Seeker that I just got about a week, 2 days ago, and I'm gonna do a hopefully pretty detailed walkthrough or walk around of this bike. There's a really good video on YouTube by another YouTube user who talks about unboxing and installation, so I highly recommend checking out his video. I used his video to assemble my bike, which was mostly, I want to say 90% assembled at a factory. So he does a pretty good walkthrough on how to put everything together, but I'm going to try to focus more on what I like about it after having it for a week, and some things that might help you in your installation when you decide to get an airborne bike. So I guess starting off, this is a large 20-inch frame bike. I'm 6'2", 165 pounds, and fits me pretty well. I first started with my research for a mountain bike with the Airborne Guardian, which is $599, their entry level one, and ended up getting the Seeker just because of my weight, and I wanted an air fork. The bike that I had before was actually a 26-inch Marin Pioneer Trail back in 2007, and served me well, crappy now, so I just time to upgrade. So like I said, it was $929 for this bike, and after shipping, I believe it was $49. It was around $980 from their distribution center in Ohio all the way to Atlanta, Georgia. So I bought mine Tuesday morning, very early Tuesday morning. I got a notification Tuesday morning that it's been shipped, and yeah, shipped same day, arrived in my house on Thursday. So literally 2-day shipping via FedEx, and pretty good. So it came in this box, this large box. If you watch that other guy's video, you see how it's packaged, but it was, for the most part, it was pretty well packaged. Had a lot of strings and zip ties and stuff. Everything was in bags. You can see, still have it. Probably should throw away this box, but yeah. Came out with like plastic, I don't know, shrouds, pieces just to protect it while during shipping. And for the most part, the bike was unscratched. I'll show you a spot where it was scratched, sadly, when I took it out of the box, and it wasn't me, so it must have been scratched during installation or whatever. But to put it together, very easy. The back wheel was already installed along with the brakes. Everything was tight, and the front wheel was actually I guess tied around with rope or a string around the frame, but it was separated with cardboard pieces, and it was bagged as well, so it was protected. And also all I had to do was cut out the string, flip the bike upside down once installing the handlebars. Handlebars was fairly easy. Sorry, this camera doesn't have autofocus, so I gotta do this by hand. But I had to swing the stem around because it was flipped 180 degrees backwards. So I had to flip it around, rotate it around, tighten this. Right here, this is just a cap, so you can pop that off. And these hex bolts. Flip it around, tighten these 4 hex screws as well over here, because the handlebar was actually just, also tied to the side of the bike when I got it. So tighten that. Then once the handlebars was tightened, I flipped the bike upside down since I don't have a bike stand. Once I flip it upside down, that's when you slide in the rear wheel. Inside that box, there's also another smaller box which has your quick release for your front wheel, and also some zip tie, instruction manuals, and some reflectors. That's right. So once I flip it upside down, your brakes, your Avid Elixir ones, the brakes are going to be loose already from factory, so you can align it. So when you slide it in, be careful not to hit your brake pads. Here you can see it right there. Boom, right there. So align it carefully. And the way I aligned my brakes was, since this was loose, I first squeezed the brake so it's centered, tightened the 2 bolts on top. You see these another 2 hex bolts on top. One of them is this one and the other one is right below, right there. If I can get it focused here, right there. So these 2, tighten those 2, and then it'll be dead center. Tighten it pretty tight. They tell you how much Newton meters to do it, I just don't remember it on top of my head. Oh yeah, don't forget to tighten this first, obviously. Do a quick release. Let's see, what else after installation? Yeah. If you want a detailed video, watch that other guy's video, because that's what I used to assemble my bike. Watched his video several times to make sure I could do it before ordering this bike. And I actually didn't take my bike to the local bike shop to get it checked. I figured if I take my time carefully assembling it, which took me about an hour, I think, because I was also taking pictures as I was assembling it, but it wasn't bad. So once I put the handlebars and the front wheel on, next was to put the seat post down. Seat post easy, it was already in the bag. Just slide that sucker in. Another hex bolt on the side. This one doesn't have, oh, I can't get it, but this one doesn't have a quick release, which is nice. If you were to, no one can steal your seat unless they have that screw. But yeah, the seat's actually not as bad as I thought. People say it hurts their butt, but I have a pretty bony butt because I'm pretty skinny and it doesn't bother me, so whatever. Oh yeah, pedals. So doesn't include pedals. Airborne doesn't include them. You can buy from their website, but I bought these pedals dirt cheap for $20 at Amazon actually. Really awesome. Didn't know exactly which pedals I wanted, so I found these for $20, like I said. And yeah, they're pretty cool. Metal, pretty lightweight aluminum. Also, the cool part is this orange trim right here. Kind of gets pretty close to the orange trim on the frame itself, so I think it works out pretty well. So I highly recommend these pedals if you're looking for some cheap platforms. Alright, what else? Oh yeah, damage. Let's talk about damage. So out of the box, this fork right here, which I was zooming right there, I don't know how it already got scratched and got kind of sad. This is my first real mountain bike too, so to get it scratched, I mean, I guess that's a risk I'm taking from buying it online, you know. You can't see the bike in person before you pay for it, you know. You gotta pay for it and then you see it. But I mean, for the parts and what it's spec'd, it's a great deal, you know. I was willing to take the chance. But I think that's pretty much the installation, pretty straightforward. So let's talk about the air suspension. This is a Rockshox RECON Gold TK turnkey, and from the factory and my weight, I actually had to release some air. It was a little bit too stiff for me, but for the case that you need to add air or release air, if you unscrew that cap, which I just did, and there's a Schrader valve inside. Can't use a normal bike pump, so you need to buy a shock pump if you don't have one. I bought mine I think the day after I got my bike from Performance Bikes. The shock pump goes up to 300 psi. Most bike pumps can't go that high in psi, so that's why you need a shock pump. But all you need to do is get this piece, and I can get it focused. Get this piece and put in there, screw it on, and then pump to your desired psi, or bleed it out, which is at the bottom right here. Decided to bleed out the air. But pretty straightforward. So I actually had to release some air for me. And to tell if you need to add air or release air is the rubber band right there. So when you go for a ride, bring the sucker all the way down, and at the end of your ride, let's say that rubber band's all the way to the top. That means that, if it's all the way at the top and bottoming out, that means you need to go add more air. if it's all the way down here after the ride, that means you can lose some air because you're not using the full 100 millimeters that the shock has to offer. Now, to know what PSI you need, there's a little graph on the left side of the fork that tells you how much PSI you need, and I'm 160, 165, so it says 125 PSI, but when I did that, I still wasn't getting the full compression of the shock, so I actually even went less than the 125. So just test it out, how you ride or what kind of trails you ride. I would definitely play with how it feels more along the lines of the factory specs. Yeah, start. Let's do the zip tie. So the zip tie that I mentioned earlier in the video is for tying the brake cable, the front cable, around here. So I tied it around the fork. I don't think I did a good job or a proper job. It works for now. I'm hoping maybe I gotta redo it so it can hide that freaking scratch. Yeah. Alright. Sorry, I'm not really organized, so I'm trying to see what I need to talk about next. Oh yeah, okay, so frame scratching. So this is my first fancy bike, and I want it to look as pretty as possible, despite, you know, taking it off-road all the time. I used Velcro straps, not the side with all that hard stuff, the softer side, and it has 3M backing tape, so I'll just cut it up and put them on right there. It's just to protect the frame. I've noticed that the frame was already getting some rub marks from the cable housing. I think most people don't care, but since this is my first fancy bike and I dropped $1,000 on it, yeah, I'm gonna try to protect it. So highly recommend something like this. There's also lizard skins, I think that's what they call it, for this, so you don't have to do this getaway, but it works. I mean, it does the job every time I turn, you know. Sorry, my video cut out, but yeah, every time I turn and wherever the cable housing makes contact with the frame, this would be in the way and doesn't rub up, doesn't scratch or anything. Also with the shock is the turnkey lockout. Pretty straightforward, you just turn it. I'm gonna go to the other side. Turn it to lock. Once you turn it, then it locks, so you can't compress the shock. So it's good for when you're on the street, try to, you know, go uphill or something, and you don't want to have some of that force on the pedals down on your fork. Rather, it goes straight to your rear wheel. What else did I buy when I got the bike? Oh yeah, lizard skin. Also got a chainstay protector from Performance Bikes. It was $10. I think this was a medium size. They didn't have small, so this is a medium size. I get it from this angle. So that was easy to install as well. It's just Velcro and just neoprene. So I wasn't planning to get it, but you know, saw the other guy did it, so I was like, might as well. $10. As for tuning, didn't really need much tuning. All I had to do was adjust the rear derailleur tensioner cable, which is, I believe this is, yeah, this one. All you have to do is turn this, which way was it? I don't remember. It would be outwards, so I think I turned it clockwise. Alright, don't count me on this, but I turned it clockwise to add some tension to the rear cable, just because in the last cog the chain kept skipping, and I know it's not because that's my favorite gear, because this is brand spanking new. So the second to the last cog, it was skipping all the time. So once I added that tension, then it didn't skip anymore, which fixed my problem. Also, in the front derailleur, it was rubbing against the cage. It was rubbing against the cage, so I also had to change the high and low limits on the cage, which I didn't know how to do either adjustments, but watching YouTube videos or Park Tool tutorials definitely helped. So instead of paying, I guess, the local bike shop $20, I just did it myself. Pretty straightforward, not bad. Let's see, I had a list of stuff to talk about. I don't know. Oh, there it is. So, like I said, installation was about an hour. I talked about the damage, talked about filling up shocks. Alright, other stuff that I got. Chain lube does not include it. I got this one because people said the ones with Teflon, dry is good. Got that. In the box, they also include reflectors, but I already have put bike lights on mine, so I didn't put on the reflectors. The wheels actually came with reflectors as well. Took those off as well. Want a cleaner look to them. This is the pump I use. I feel like I'm doing an advertisement, but I'm not. So this is a Presto valve, and I don't know. Let me show what it looks like, just in case if you don't know what it looks like. There it is. Presto valve. Boom. And I believe the recommended PSI, or the max PSI, is 50 PSI. The range is 22.5 to 50 PSI. I guess for this tire size, I believe is 29 by 2.2 inches by VEETIRES company. I know on their website it's a different tire. It's with a yellow lettering, but this one actually comes with a blue lettering. So, or sorry, this is the wrong side. On the other side, it's blue lettering. But yeah, had this bike for a week now, and it's been serving me pretty well. I took it off-roading in some single tracks, and the shock performed extremely well. No weird noises after I changed to tweaked the derailleurs a little bit. What else can I talk about? Shifting, phenomenal. Like I said, after tweaking, brakes, didn't have to do any tweaking on the brakes. The rear brake did start to squeak a little bit after a while. If I remember correctly, watching or following some MTBR forums, the Elixir ones do make a lot of squeaking noises, so I figured that's going to be there forever, unless I read upon how to take it off. But yeah, but overall, pretty satisfied. I mean, I better be satisfied if it's $1,000, but maybe I can show you some details on the bike. I try to look for photos of the Seeker, and there's no close-up, so hopefully this video will do some explaining. There's my goldfish in the back, if you're curious. Yeah, I did tons and tons of research before choosing this bike. And just what everyone says about the geometry, the specs and everything, what's included with this bike, it's just, you can't beat it. Let me flip the bike on the other side so you can take a look. Oh, man. I didn't weigh this, but I want to say the bike's pretty close to 30 pounds. Yeah, 30 pounds. So it's not too light, but it's also not too heavy. Come on, get off the tripod. So this is what I was talking about, the blue lettering on this side. Well, I guess I can talk about this. This is the rebound adjuster right there. How quick you want the shock to go back to its original position. So they have a little, see, that's turtle and a rabbit on the other side. So you can select how fast it was. I didn't mess with it. I think it's perfect for me. You can see more of that Velcro stuff I did to protect the frame. But it's awesome bike. Love the frame, love the colors. SRAM X5s. There's a lizard skin, the chain stay protector I was talking about earlier. And then the rear derailleur. As far as customer service, talked to a guy named Jesse at Airborne, and he was pretty responsive. Like, I would email him and he usually emails me back within 2 hours. So some people say they're having like bad customer experiences, but I've been having pretty good experiences with them. I asked him a lot of questions and answered all of them promptly, very quickly. Hopefully I get to make some GoPro videos with this bike, but hope this video helped make you sway your decision to get one of these bad boys. I guess real quick, talk about specs. I probably should have done this in the beginning. 2x10 SRAM X5s, 160mm rotors, Rockshox RECON Gold turnkey, which is already a $400 fork itself. Let's see what else. Avid Elixir 1 brakes. These are Weinnman double walled rims. Hydraulic brakes, of course. San Marco seats. And I believe this is the same frame that they use on the Guardian as well. Just because I think this is weird to me, but they have that reinforcing part in the frame right there. So, but yeah, I didn't have to take my bike to the local bike shop to get it checked. You know, everything was pretty much straight out the box after doing a few tweaking and everything. And yeah, get yourself one. Thanks for watching.